Since sometime last year, I've wanted to do some Project Zomboid runs that I like to call The Roads Are Lava. Basically a one-block challenge where I use a random spawn mod to land anywhere on the map, and then never allow myself to touch the roads, just to see what kind of fun and pitiful existence I can eke out in a very confined play space with very limited resources. Well, this video is me finally getting around to trying this challenge in Build 42. I posted one of these from Build 41 earlier this year, but that was a curated start that allowed me to flex some ancient 30-year-old NFL knowledge I have. This time around, everything is going to be pure random. Using the Spawn Anywhere mod, we'll be starting in Anywhere, Kentucky, and the randomness party doesn't stop there. I've clicked the random button for character creation and landed on a construction worker with a weak stomach and fear of blood. But boy, they're a fast learner. But this set of stats isn't going to mess up a bunch of zombies without a corporeal form, and that too is going to come out via the random button. Behold, Johnnie Fortune! Now that is a tight name. Let's go! Okay, so I feel a dude with a mullet and a goatee named Johnnie Fortune spawning into what appears to be a trailer park is absolutely perfect. And ooh boy, the first thing to loot are these sweet shades to complete the look. Where he actually spawned was a music festival site near Louisville, a stellar location that had free pizza and was chock full of random beer bottles just laying around for Johnny to pick up and take a big suck of courage out of. But it wasn't meant to be, as the starting zombie population is well above my skill set, and on the first day, Johnny got overwhelmed and Johnny got eaten. But that's just the nature of true random starts like this. Sometimes you just come out of the gates against overwhelming odds. So I toned down the starting numbers just a smidge and set the helicopter event to happen more than once and got right back into it with our new boy, who spawned in a totally dark room. Behold! Marshall Wallace, a man whose skills are unknown at the moment, as it seems I forgot to record during the character creation. Oh well. But immediately Marshall, or Mars as I'm going to call him, did what any old man with knee-high socks and shorts would do in this situation. He got to digging around in the trash, a masterful gambit that yielded a baseball bat. Sure, it was worn out, but for what few bonks it would serve would surely be appreciated. He looked to his left, and the true majesty of his sprawling location became apparent. He was in a basketball stadium that was converted for a boxing match. Why, if this wasn't a true castle of the apocalypse, I don't know what is. Mars got to work turning on all the lights so he could find and raid more trash cans. I'm not sure why he took this rotten jalapeno, but he did. The hot dog buns he found and eventually ate plain ended up serving as much better nourishment. He fell down the stairs while making his way to the outside world to assess the location, and then while opening the doors, first contact! The metal bat bludgeoned beautifully. He opened this big garage door on the side of the arena and, oh my! His inner raccoon squealed with delight as he saw the volume of trash that he had just discovered to go rummaging through. He walked away from his filthy loot box with some perfectly good quagga cakes and the first skill book for maintenance. Then around the corner in a service room, he found a crowbar, which is good because our boy Mars has some starting experience in the ancient art of long blunt. And it will last much longer than that rickety old baseball bat. He put that crowbar to good use for the rest of the day as he smashed heads with it in the parking lot while searching the cars for loot, all while stripping some zombies down to their undies. Now listen, he wasn't doing this because he was some sort of necro pervert. No. Locking myself to one block meant all the resources available are going to be quite limited. So I'm merely just removing the clothing that might be useful later as fabric from the corpse, so that when the body eventually rots away, the fabric doesn't disappear with it, okay? Jeez. But it was starting to get dark out, so Mars retreated to the only room he found in the area that had any semblance of being a living space. This cozy office that had a couch and a bathroom in it. He studied his filthy maintenance book before going to bed. The next morning, he looked out from the window and assessed his block. The block is located in Louisville. On the northwest corner sits his castle. Across an alleyway to the south appears to be an apartment complex, which is neighbored by a 5-story Turbo TV network building. And then some smaller shops and apartments, with some car dealerships on the far side of the block. And of course, this nice big parking lot. Being a large block was good, as it seems our boy Mars fancies himself a hunter and knows how to build animal traps. So if I can find the resources and skills to actually build some traps, there actually would be enough space to get around the mechanic where traps need to be far away from the player to actually catch an animal. But that's a problem for later, for at the moment, that apartment complex across the way is just full of food slowly rotting away in the refrigerators. So mission number 1 is to liberate that building and get all the perishables into freezers and hope that the power doesn't go out soon. That morning, he crossed the no man's land between the buildings and braced himself for whatever was about to come out of those apartments. Now Marshall never managed to even set foot in the apartments. Between the new muscle strain mechanics and his short of breath trait, he had to keep falling back as he ran out of energy, eventually falling back all the way to the arena. He rested up in an office chair and stepped back out, but the zombies had turned the tides, and now it was his arena that was being infiltrated. He fought hard, but soon was overcome with both exhaustion and tiredness. Continuing to fight would be a fool's errand, so he dodged the zombies the best he could and made his way back to the safety of his top-story office. The third day started with Mars cleaning up what stragglers were still in his arena. Then he consolidated the contents of all the concession fridges into the units next to his third-story apartment. He set back out to work on the apartment building, but instead was horrified to see that the zombies had made their way to his floor. Not wanting this zombie filth on his level, he got to work removing the bodies. Ooh. No! God damn it. Okay, to clear the air here, no. Marshall didn't take the easy way out after being awestruck by the futility of efforts that stood before him. What actually happened is that he fell victim to me being an idiot. See, the corpse drag animation is new in Build 42, but I actually wasn't aware that dropping a corpse near the ledge would also throw the body over the ledge. That was neat, I thought, and went to do it again with the second body that was at his feet. Except, the key press to vault and the key press to grab the body are the same by default. So when I hit that E key to grab the corpse, he chose the vault. So, is this where we end? Have I failed a one-block challenge after a mere 2 days? Oh no! What's happening? Why is everything shaking? Oh my god! He has been reborn! Johnnie Fortune is back, baby! Oh, sorry. This block seemed interesting, so I wasn't ready to give up the run yet due to a keybind error. But after Johnnie Fortune crushed those zombie skulls, he quickly found a corpse that was packed full of useful loot, almost as if he just knew it was there somehow. Weird. Well, time to keep clearing those apartment buildings that he also somehow just seems to know about. Oh yeah, some new shades for Johnny coming in hot. Cat-eyed? Those are for girls. I see you. I see you. I don't think that jump scare sound was appropriate right then. I see you. I see you. Okay, I see all of you. Oops. Now I'm playing with instant zombification turned on, so the fact that Johnnie Fortune is still alive after that scratch means that fortunes were in Johnnie Fortune's favor. He retreated to the apartment that he also somehow just knew about to rest and recover. The next morning, he scoured the arena some more for stragglers before he ended up discovering the arena's bar. Can't say no to a free warm beer, can he? But the bar also yielded a nice duffel bag for his loot. And that TV looked pretty nice too, so he hauled it back to his apartment so we could use it to study. After collecting himself, it was back to Operation Apartment. I found a radio with the emergency broadcast band on it. This will be useful to warn me of all the incoming helicopter events. But boy howdy, does it sound like that building is teeming with stragglers. Better get to work. Oh, I'm not sure that was the correct thing to do. shooting that gun was probably the wrong thing to do. Oh, Johnny needs more courage. Well, he made it back to his room in the arena, but his little stunt with the handgun brought on more attention than anticipated, and now the arena was starting to get a bit crowded with zombies.
Oh, fuck.
Thus, the entirety of July 14th was spent ridding the arena of the undead. And while cleaning out the arena, Johnnie Fortune realized the untold stabbing power that can be wielded by the humble screwdriver. He got screwed. Haha, she got screwed. He got screwed by Johnnie Fortune. And at the end of the day, after he was tired and ready to sleep, he was horrified to learn that the zombies had made their way to his little home and had managed to rip the door clean off the hinges. He was able to sleep, but it did not feel safe there anymore. I think the theme of July 15th was merely the undead yearn for the arena. Every time I'd look at it, it seemed like more and more of the little stinkers were wandering into it. But there were also plenty more outside to harass Johnnie Fortune. The arena apartment felt compromised, and I didn't think it was wise to try to return there. But being locked to one block, I didn't have much choice, did I? Well, I gave the first floor of the TV station a little exploring, and found it mostly vacant, aside from a few zombies on the east side. So I wondered if perchance, the yearning for the arena might have cleared out the apartments. Well, resistance on the first floor was absolutely minor, and Johnnie Fortune's fortunes grew a little bit as he was finally able to liberate the food in the first floor refrigerators. All seemed quiet for the moment, so I chose a bedroom to hole up in for the evening. I did acquire the generator manual at some point during the day, so I read that for the slim chance that a generator existed somewhere on this block. And this entire time, I've also noticed that his stress was almost always maxed. I've been keeping up with cleaning the blood off him this entire time, but it never seemed to taper off. I figured maybe because of the fear of blood moodle that it didn't decay naturally, and I'd have to keep reading books to smush that moodle. So I read a book to kill the stress before going to bed. Okay, so what I ended up realizing is that although I was washing all of my clothing, at some point I'd strapped some magazines on his limbs as armor. They got bloody, and well, since hand washing a magazine probably isn't going to be very effective, they weren't washable, and they never showed up in the menu, and I just kind of forgot about them. I removed the magazines, and the bloodborne stress was no longer unmanageable. But with my idiocracy out of the way, it was time to see if the rest of the apartment was cleared out. They most definitely were not clear, as he spent the last 2 days doing nothing but purging the nearby zombie population. But once they stopped flooding from the upper levels where my strategically placed armchair would hold them back, I got to work disassembling the first floor furniture to get some planks and nails. Then I used those materials to add a door to my floor, and also a door to the apartment that I was living in. But the pressing matter was, it was now day 9, and well, the helicopter showed up. I didn't have a radio in the building with an emergency band yet, so it just kind of appeared on me. But I was inside when it arrived, so I just waited it out while playing with Johnny's ever-growing sock collection. Aside from the one nosy neighbor who showed up at my front door, the helicopter didn't draw any hordes of undead into my apartment, but surely there was going to be a lot more of them outside that I'd need to deal with. But I had a plan and was ready for that. Being a bit of a connoisseur of fire antics in Project Zomboid, I saw that big meaty parking lot for what it was, a space where I could safely get a little undead bonfire going. Now, I hadn't yet discovered a piece of tubing that would have been required to get some gasoline out of an auto to make a Molotov, but that is fine, as a recipe to make a campfire from 3 simple stones was added to Build 42, and I had made sure to forage those up in the days previous. So I grabbed my rocks and hit that parking lot. First thing I needed to do was get the campfire circle set up. Good job, me. Then try to leave them all away long enough so I can run back and get some fuel into— Ooh! A pipe! Mine! And with some twigs and a spark, it was time to feed the flames! Oh, there! After 8 hours of zombie pyro, which took out 137 zombies, I made it back to the safety of the first floor apartments just in time for bed. At this juncture, where I'm momentarily safe from a helicopter, and having just wiped out a large swath of zombies outside the apartment, I was starting to feel a bit more secure in my hole. But the work wasn't done yet, as there were still 4 floors of food above me that I needed to liberate. Before heading up, I moved the armchair over and built a fence to use as a fall trap for whatever might still be waiting in the above floors. But then, bound by an oath of violence that a tie-dyed t-shirt dictates, the time had come to kick some ass and empty this building out once and for all. After a harrowing day of strife and slaughter on the stairwells, Johnnie Fortune's fortunes shine bright, and he found himself on the rooftop of the newly secured apartment complex. Having entered a period of relative tranquility, Johnny spent the next couple of days consolidating the apartment loot. Oh my god. I know how to make cabbage rolls now! Oh! God, yes! As well as from the cars which were strewn out across the parking lot. But while this new 5th-story apartment was a clean and spacious sanctuary, he often found himself gazing across the alley and feeling a sense of longing for the little office that he initially called home. The longing started to ache too much in Johnny's heart, so he decided if he was going to be happy, he was going to need to move back. There really wasn't much resistance left in the arena to put up a fight, so returning to the office was easy. But the wandering hordes had ripped off all the doors in the vicinity, so there would be some work to do to secure the office, so he didn't move back in just yet. Before heading back to the apartment, he explored the neighboring TV station and was finally rewarded with something Johnny had been lacking this entire run: some sweet shades. And it was also full of more zombies in need of a good bonk. On the 25th of July, Johnny loaded up his first duffel bag of food to relocate to the old office and dealt with a nosy neighbor while setting out. After a couple of trips moving food and tools, it was time to secure this beautiful office space. With a few doors once again between Johnny's couch and the Undead, I needed to think about how I was going to get food long term. It's been 20 days since I started, and I've been fortunate that the power grid is still up, but that will be coming to an end soon, and that's going to cause some issues. The shop on the south side of the block does have an antique stove in it, so when the power drops, I'll at least be able to still safely cook without running the risk of stepping into a campfire. But once the power does go out, all that food I have in the fridge is going to start to spoil. I found the guide on how to use generators, and while I haven't found a piece of hose needed to siphon gasoline from any of the cars on the block, I did find a full canister of gas in one of the work vans. So in the event that I locate a generator somewhere on the block, I'm at least set to be able to turn that on and keep the fridges running for a while. But I'm not counting on that. I found a package of lettuce seeds and made a shitty little garden from them. Let's be real here. With the changes to crops in Build 42, these are a novelty at best. If I'm reading the wiki correct, it's going to be like 2 months before I can harvest, and then we'll quickly be leaving their growing season. So I think they're going to be a mild bonus at best, which leaves me with two options. Build bridges to the neighboring blocks to scavenge for canned foods, or pursue the Marshall Wallace plan of trapping. Now Johnny's Fortunes found him a guide on creating 2 basic kind of traps, which is good, but I'm in a logistics conundrum. I have all the experience and access to materials to create a crate trap to catch rabbits, but rabbits are rare in urban areas, and I haven't really found many fresh veggies needed to bait them. I mean, there was this one wild cabbage I foraged. A wild cabbage. I'm so excited. But in a cabbage euphoria, I didn't think about this and just turned it into stew. So the stick trap to catch birds seems to be a better play. I've secured a few boxes of cereal to use as bait, and I can always forage for bugs and dig for worms long term. But this has its own problem as the crafting requires wooden rods. I have materials for wooden rods, but not the experience needed in carving. So in order to grind carving up to level 1, I need raw wood materials. And let's just say, this block isn't exactly teeming with trees, so there might not even be enough wood available to get to carving level 1. But before I even consider taking on that problem, there's something else. Johnny is sick of sleeping on that couch. He needs an honest-to-God bed in his safe room. Alright, mahogany bed, don't you break on me! Only one of the 4 sections survived his expert deconstruction. This maple bed fared much better with only one of the sections breaking. And after a second maple bed was destroyed, I had all the parts needed for a bed. But everything in that office was a nice dark color. That maple bed frame would do nothing but clash. So you know what? I said, fuck it. Johnny is getting a mahogany bed. Yes! Well, it looks like our old friend Mr. Helicopter is back. I'd already preloaded the fire pit with fuel in case it drew a horde that warranted a burn, but that didn't happen this time. They mostly swarmed on the side of the fence opposite my fire trap, but since the last time I made one of these videos, the toppling of large fences has been added. That requires much greater numbers than what I'm seeing, so I just shiv them through my fence with my trusty screwdriver and other sharp implements of stabbing. Second helicopter has come and gone. Time to get back to moving that Oh my god! Some asshole zombie trampled 4 of my 5 lettuce plots! Not that I expected to ever harvest them, but it's the principle of the matter. I guess I'll add boxing in the entryway to my to-do list. I did find some processed cheese and mouse traps, so I went and set up those traps in the far end of the parking lot, hoping to catch some rats or mice to eat. Can you even catch a mouse with the salt? Huh? An apple! The crate trap is back on the menu, boys! Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. Well, back to what matters. Just a banjo laying there. Okay. How did I miss the banjo the first 40 times I walked through this? Ladies and gentle people, Johnnie Fortune has a bed. Time for some quality sleep. Oh, come on! But the boring old couch was safe enough, I see. Well, we've made it to August, and Johnny's metamorphosis to a complete hippie has completed. I batch cooked a bunch of chicken, and then set out to check my mouse traps. Ooh, the mouse I caught is still alive! Hey there, little guy! Aww. He's cute and all, but it's time to do the needful. Ah, nice. A skinned mouse worth 0 nutrition. Perfect. With that disappointing trapping experience behind him, Johnny set out to raid the cupboards of this apartment that he hadn't gone into yet. A small zombie resistance was present at the ground level, and they were swiftly taken care of. Several more came out of the apartment, but once again the pathfinding kinda got them stuck up on the top of the stairs. But oh well, after cleaning that apartment out, Johnny is an old pro at stair combat and set out confidently to secure the... Oh, Christ. Well, I guess we don't get to see how trapping or bridge building would have played out this time, friends. I feel like having the hero die due to starving to death from an improper food chain instead of a zombie attacks is the ultimate victory in these one-block challenges, but it just wasn't in the cards this time. Godspeed, Johnnie Fortune.